Hey everyone, what is up and welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, my name is Amanda and I'm the host of the Behind the Girl Boss podcast, where we talk to women from every walk of life about things they have been through, their businesses, life journeys, all those things. I feel like the premise or like the idea of the podcast has changed so much over the past, I don't even know. I feel like I've had this podcast for around 4 or 5 years now, which is wild to me. I've been able to speak to such amazing people and such inspiring people. I've been able to make friends through the podcast and just talk to people honestly I never imagined ever speaking to before, which is just wild and crazy and cool, and I'm just very thankful and grateful. When I started this podcast, I mainly had on like influencers, social media people. I'm gonna drink my coffee. It's very early for me. It's like 8:30 and I am not a morning person. Yeah, so when I first started my podcast, it was mainly like influencers and social media people that I wanted on. And now I kind of transitioned into like just anyone and everyone, well, women particularly, who just have a story to tell, because I feel like I've spoken to so many people who don't have like a big social media presence but have such inspiring stories. And I've just enjoyed it so much and I'm so excited to continue doing so. We have amazing guests lined up for the next few months. And I'm just really, my laptop literally almost just fell off my bed. That's great. Yeah, we have so many amazing guests lined up, and I have my best friend Jordan, who is now editing the podcast, so I don't have to do that, which is a weight off my shoulders, because if you didn't know, I also run my own business full time where I do video editing, podcast editing, and social media management. And then editing my own podcast, I was like, I didn't have time, and then I was always delayed and whatever the hell. So now I have someone editing it, and I'm very grateful because I definitely needed it, and I definitely needed the help. So anyways, I don't want to make this episode too long. It's just a little update recap episode. But essentially I took a 4 week break from the podcast because I was reaching a total burnout, and I feel like people don't talk about burnout and mental health enough. People are talking about it more, but it's just been a ride. Yeah. I feel like my mental health has been at the lowest it's ever been in so long. I'm disappointed to like say that like I went back to like different coping mechanisms that I like tried really hard to stop and to not use anymore. And I unfortunately went back to those, and I'm working on it, and I had to like tell myself and like realize that like I guess the word would be like relapse. I don't know if that like is the correct term to use here, but like recovery is not linear, and like even though you could be doing so well for so long, sometimes you have like slip ups or like whatever it is, and like that's okay. And like I have to remind myself that, and anyone that's watching this that's dealt with this, like remind yourself that too. Like recovery is not linear, and some days I have really good days and some days I have really bad days, and I feel like it's going to be like that for the rest of my life, and I just have to deal with it and like understand it and just know how to cope with it in a healthy way. I started taking antidepressants again for the first time in like years, and I finally feel like they like settled in a bit, and I don't have like the crazy side effects and stuff, so that's great. Love that for me. I didn't want to get medicated for so long because I've had such bad experiences with meds and stuff, and so against it at first. But then I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna try again. Maybe the 3 that I tried just weren't for me, and like this time I feel like it's working, and it's like not making me feel like a robot, so that's really great. I'm really thankful and happy about that, because it's so tiring, and like I feel like anyone that like has tried meds or is on meds, whatever, it's like just very tiring to like try things and then it not works, so then you have to get off them and then try a new one, and like the cycle repeats. It's just draining and annoying, and I was like not about it, and I was over it, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, blah blah blah. But here we are. So sometimes you just gotta try multiple, especially even therapy, like therapists. I have a therapist, and I've been seeing her since like basically a year now at this point. And I'm thankful because she was the first one that I went back to in like a year, and we clicked right away. But there's been other ones that I've like went to, and like it just wasn't the vibes, or we weren't clicking, or like I feel like I wasn't 100% open because I wasn't comfortable, things like that. And at the end of the day, like, it's okay to try out like multiple therapists. And like, if you have one and you just don't vibe with them, don't stick with them, because if you're not going to be 100% honest, and if you're not going to feel like you're getting anything out of it, like, there's literally no point to like stick with it or stay with it or stay with them, because if you're not getting anything out of it, then what's the point? You know what I mean? Honestly, I didn't even know what this episode was going to be about, but I just wanted to like talk about mental health and like openly talk about it, and just remind you guys that it's okay to like feel like shit, and it's okay to like not feel okay sometimes, and it's okay to take breaks for your mental health. And that's what I did, and now we're back, and I feel like I have a new like energy and new motivation for the podcast and just for my like own content in general, because like I said, editing for everyone else, I feel like I'm so motivated for them, and like I get so many ideas, but then when it comes to my own content, I get like burnt out and tired and whatever, and like not motivated, and I don't want to do it. So now having someone edit the podcast, at least like that is off my plate. For my YouTube channel, I still edit that mostly. I think like for my sit down videos and stuff, I'll give it to my friend. But I'm like happy that I'll have someone to like give some stuff to, because I feel like I love creating, but then I get so like, I love editing too, but then I don't have time. Like, if I could have all the time in the world, I would love to like edit everyone's stuff and edit my own stuff, but I don't have that much time, and I've realized that. And I realized that I shouldn't be editing my podcast at 12 a.m. the night before it goes out, because I didn't have time to do it beforehand. You know what I mean? So I feel like this could be a new flow, new energy, new vibes. And yeah, that's my little update. Basically, took a 3-week break. Mental health has been shit. Been working on it, and sometimes life just stops you in your tracks, but it gets better. And that's what I have to say. So thank you guys for listening to this really, 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 really short episode. It's literally, I feel like it's 5 minutes, but you know what? That's okay. It's just a little update. I will be back next week with a lot of, well, not a lot. I'll be back next week with 1 episode. But I have a lot of guests lined up. If you are a woman or know a woman who has an inspiring story to tell, has a great business, or just has something they want to share, comment down below, DM me, whatever you want. I would love to hear their story, and I would love to have them on the podcast. So yeah, don't forget to follow the podcast on Instagram. You can follow us at, or me, literally sometimes I say us and it's literally just me, but you can follow me on Instagram either at Behind the Girl Boss or at It's Amanda Wan. Check out my YouTube channel, It's Amanda Wan. I post every single week on there. And yeah, I hope you guys are excited for the future episodes, and I hope you can see a new motivation and new energy for the podcast. And yeah, so thank you guys for listening, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.